Very good effort, Who's this?
Kia ora, Mr Speaker.
I call the honourable member Reno Terakatani. Tēnā koe, Reno.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker.
Kei te pai.
I'm very pleased to add my contribution to this third reading of this bill. And we on this side of the House, sir, we support this bill. We have supported this bill throughout. Like my colleagues, I spoke, I believe, at the committee stage of this bill. Must have been over 2 years ago now. So I had to really reach back and think, gee, what was this bill all about? But here we are, somewhat nearly 4 years later after it was introduced, and we're on the home stretch. We're going to actually get it passed. But it is a very reasonable piece of legislation, sir. We do support it. We want to make sure that there is, the Crown doesn't have to foot the bill for the processing costs of all of the international travellers and all of the interactions that take place at our border. It is fair for our airport operators and our international airports. Our main ones are substantial operations. They are multinational listed companies. Some have substantial, I guess, public ownership or through local authority ownership, but they are effectively public companies. And I think it's fair that, given the investment that is required in terms of aviation security, the New Zealand Customs Service, and most importantly biosecurity, that it is fair that those big airport operators do contribute to, well, in this case, non-routine processing, because we know that they are well-established operators, have been for, since they've been in operation. But, it is fair that they contribute their fair share towards those processing costs, sir. But I'm very proud, sir. I've heard contributions from around the House this evening about international airports in certain electorates, and I'm pleased to say that my electorate has the most international airports here in New Zealand. We've got Wellington, Christchurch, Dunedin, Queenstown. So, there's plenty there. Unfortunately, I don't get Palmerston North for Mr Lees Galloway, but I understand that they cut out a few years ago, but hopefully they will come back. They will be back. But so there are plenty of international airports in Maiarohe. I'm very proud of that, and I've been around most of them. Haven't actually done international travel through them, but I know that it is very important to the South Island economy, especially that we get our international travellers travelling to and from those international airports. But I'd also say that this legislation, sir, also encompasses new or re-established international airports, and we've mentioned Palmerston North, which will hopefully come back online very soon. But we could also arguably does work, and it does, I understand, take the overflow, or when flights are diverted, it still takes those international flights. So in a way, you could say it is still a type of international airport. Helps Wellington out every now and then. But we could say, sir, that we're looking at the future, hopefully the growth of our passenger numbers and our regions especially. But arguably there is another international airport, sir, depending on who you talk to. And I'm talking about another amazing place in my great electorate, and that is the Chatham Islands. Chatham Islands, sir, are a very small community, but they do regard the mainland as New Zealand, and they are very much staunchly proud of the fact that they are Chatham Islanders. But I thought I would give that great community a little shout out this evening. And they do have big aspirations over there, and hopefully, you never know, one day they might have an international airport there themselves. But getting back to this bill, sir, we do support it. I think it will be good to see, we've seen a lot of innovations, I guess, over recent years in terms of processing. Smart Gate is one of them. The profiling, the advanced profiling of passengers that are coming through our borders. And so, but we mustn't overlook the fact that you cannot beat, having people on our borders, having well-resourced border security, especially our biosecurity system. Oh, and absolutely, we need to have which I don't see much of these days, sir, those cute little but very, very highly trained beagles that do the sniff test for illicit drugs or whatever other illegal items certain passengers may be carrying. But so customs service. In fact, I do want to give a special acknowledgement to those fine men and women of our aviation security service, our New Zealand Customs Service, and biosecurity for the work that they do. Because I do say this in many of my speeches, they do defend our pa. They defend Aotearoa. They defend it from biosecurity incursions, those nasty bugs or whatever they might be, nasties that may come in and could potentially decimate our primary sector, especially our export sector, which we're so highly reliant on. So it's important that we do make sure that there is a well-resourced biosecurity service, and we can go and benefit from technology, but you cannot also lose sight of the fact that we do need well-trained, well-resourced people on the front line who can also, do their job to protect our borders as well. Sir, I'd also like to just pick up Mr. Pross's comment, because I know he was talking about my colleagues over here are opposing the bill, which is regrettable, but I did acknowledge Mr. Pross's entertaining speech. But Mr. Prosser needs... Indeed, another incursion. But I think Mr. Prosser needs to maybe look back in history and to the time when Auckland International Airport was sold, and to the minister at the time who actually signed off on that prospectus, or one of the ministers, and that minister was the Right Honourable Winston Peters. So that he has played a very... that party has played a key part in terms of the privatisation of our international airports. And I remember, it's a fact, I will table the prospectus, if I can get my hands on it, of that international airport, of which Mr. Peters was the treasurer at the time. And I recall these things because I was part of an army of lawyers at the time that were doing a lot of the legal work behind the scenes in that initial public offering. But I'm just saying that the Auckland International Airport float was actually during the time when the Right Honourable Winston Peters was the minister who signed the prospectus. One of two ministers that actually did that. But I digress. Because I want to get back to this bill, sir. And this is a very reasonable bill. It is a reasonable bill because we don't want these overseas, largely overseas owned, floated international airport operators to be getting a free ride off the taxpayer. I think it's fair, and I think every Kiwi has a sense of fairness, that they should pay their fair share. And we know that a lot of them are very profitable, and a lot of those profits are going straight back to wherever their institutional shareholders come from, whether it's the US, whether it's Australia, whether it's anywhere around the world. So the fact that they can generate their profits through the benefit of having to operate their airport and process all the travellers, it's certainly fair that those airport operators have to pay their fair share. But I'd just like to make a final comment, sir, and this is, I think, what could actually benefit our processing of international travellers would be to have a 10-year passport. And I know that that's been raised in the... it was in front of Select Committee, I understand, today. But, I think Kiwis do deserve... We need to revert back to the 10-year passport. It's a lot fairer on everybody. If you take 5 years, really that 5 years is only condensed to like 4.5 years actual use of that passport, and it's ever-increasing costs. And I think that our hard-working, good citizens out there who do want to travel should get a fair go and revert to the good old 10-year passport, whereby they can get good passage from around the world under our highly respected passports, and that would be a great gesture, and I know that's something that this side of the House will be definitely looking into. That concludes my speech, sir. Kia ora tātou.
I call the honourable member Young Jan.